Iceland keeps showing how serious they were when they decided to bail out their people and not their banks back in 2008 after the economic collapse. Now we have the 26th banker being sentenced to jail, Margaret. This is very, very important because we know the contrast of what happened in the States and what happened in Iceland. But together, all of these bankers combined 74 years behind bars.
Well, you know, the similar situation happened in Iceland that did in the U.S. The one problem, Jose, our banks are so inherently connected to government institutions. Bank of America, for example, it's the official bank of the Fed. The economic malfeasance that took place, you know, on the part of these banks here was never criminalized. It was never prosecuted. They were too big to fail. Iceland is stepping up and saying, no, that's not the case here. They've gone individually after bankers that had a hand in this crisis and collapse. And the irony is, it's working for them.
It is, it is. Right now, the latest development is 5 top bankers from the 2 largest banks on Iceland. They were found guilty of embezzlement, market manipulation, and breach of fiduciary duties. Now, this is very, very important because we see a country that decided to, instead of using the money, like in the States, to bail out the banks and to pay the CEOs, they decided to say, well, we're going to let you fail. We're going to give this money back to the people. We're going to make sure that you pay them their savings, that you pay them their investment. Now, for those who can't pay their mortgage or they have business loans, we're going to create government-sponsored debt relief programs for the community to move forward and grow. Instead, in the United States, we have the Troubled Asset Relief Program, the TARP, that made available $700 billion to the banks.
Right, so TARP went to aid the gangster banks and not bail out people. Look, the 2008 housing collapse, when that happened because of mortgages, houses, underwater mortgages, for example, people didn't receive a lot of relief in that case. Obama, coming on the heels of a new election, a lot of hope that he would change some things. And he said, in fact, let's just put this behind us. So that type of economic policy moving forward, that policy in and of itself was a violation of the fiduciary trust that people had in institutions, because they never held accountable criminally or civilly people who put Americans in this mess. And Iceland recovered all. We're still recovering. The housing market has never bounced back. It yo-yos, but it's never sustained what it was in 2007 prior to that 2008 collapse.
Correct. And I think you make a very excellent point. The fact that Obama had the opportunity to make a statement and say, we're going to take care of our citizens and we're not going to take care of the banks. But here, like you mentioned, the revolving door in between these banks and the Hill, it's incredible. So the money that they bail out is probably money that is going to go back to the campaign. So they fund another bailout, and it's a cycle. But Iceland is actually showing that you can break out of that cycle that only benefits a few, the 1%, and actually bring your community and your population out of a crisis. And now they're actually better than before the crisis. So it's an example that when you do socially conscious business as a government, it pays off. But we want to know your thoughts below. Do you think the government of the United States should go after the bankers like the government of Iceland is doing? Let us know your opinion. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the LibTV2.